Hello everyone! Greetings dear Aristobats, fellow immortals and mortals yet to be claimed by the night. Welcome to this lady's humble abode. So today we'll be looking to the story of Windsong. I hope you're ready. Hoping they're going to show us a past instead of what happened after the story this time. But since Villa's story was all about what happened after the events of the main story, I kind of think that that's the route they went with when it comes to Windsong as well. It remains to be seen. Let's get into it. Okay, just from the menu alone, it appears it's going to be a backstory, but not that of an old one. We will probably see her as a student and how everybody dropped out of the study of ley lines, whereas she stayed and kept trying her best to prove that they're actually real and worth studying. But let's start and find out. Stage 1, Queries in the Hall.
Okay, all set.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. They're all here. Windsong sets aside the notes in her hand. It's still too early for anyone to have arrived at the lecture hall.
This place feels colder than the Dayashki.
So cold here, and there's a different shade of grey to this place compared to Dayashki. Even the lines in this room seem sharp enough to slice off the tips of my fingers if I dare touch them. So far, it's after Dayashki. She holds her wrist with her other hand in an attempt to steady its uncontrollable trembling. This always happens when she's nervous. Now breathe, Windsong. She draws in a long breath, feeling the crisp air fill her lungs. It brings back a vivid memory of Dayashki. Are you leaving already, Comrade Windsong?
Yes.
I'm afraid so. Lots to do and so little time to do it. If everything goes smoothly there, might be able to return before the kids come back from the Foundation. Off for a publicity tour for Dayashki, eh? Make sure you tell them about all the wonderful things we have here. Yes, they must come to try our uka, and the potato stew too. Speaking of which, have you prepared anything for the road, Comrade Windsong? These songs are like a signal. Suddenly a plethora of packages are thrust into her arms from all directions.
Oh.
Before long, her arms are filled with cheeses of all shapes and sizes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. This is a generous amount of cheese for one trip. I see what you're getting at. Of course, we can't have you eating nothing but cheese the whole time. More packages are shoved into her arms. Beetroot, a large ham, a portable gas stove, and a lonely wool sock. Take care, Comrade Windsong. Safe journey, Comrade Windsong. The steamship horn sounds, echoing across the bay to the mountains in the distance. They stand tall and grey, the silent guardians of the town and its people. In the lingering echo of the horn, the ship departs from the dock. Windsong looks back at the shore. The people of Dayashki are still there waving to her. She manages a wave in return. The wind becomes more biting, and the snow stings her face. She waves until the town and its people fade from sight and heads to the cabin with her luggage. She remembers traversing lands covered in snow and lush vegetation, passing the Tower Mountains and the open bay. She changed from ship to train, from train to car, and despite her best efforts to keep the cheese wrappers intact, they started to fall apart. With all the moving and cold, no wonder. Just like her memories of Dayashki. Her heart sinks at the thought of that little town, the entire place gone, and this cheese is some of the last things left to prove it ever existed. She takes out one of the packages, takes a small bite, and carefully wraps it back up.
Windsong, still believe you have a home to return to.
Oh, girl. I'm mad too. Like I told you last time, I didn't want this town to be lost, but I should have seen it coming that this is where this was going. I just thought that, maybe because they're Arcanas, maybe it's somewhat like the Uluru Stadium, but yeah, it wasn't. And also it was made from people, so it made sense for it not to be protected against any such thing. She runs her fingers over the wrinkled wax paper. She rubs her face and straightens up.
Forget about it.
Come on, not now. I got a speech to give. Let's see. I'll start with a brief introduction of myself, then move on to the history of the study of ley lines, followed by... They may have some questions on environmental analysis for me, or perhaps they'll ask about the geological conditions in Rayashki. I'm calling it already, they're going to ask nothing. And she's going to be so devastated, poor thing. Better to keep the geologic map handy. Here it is. What else will they want to know? The nature of ley energy? That could be one. She hears some indistinct chatter coming from the end of the hallway. She stares at the door. The muffled arguments quickly become clearer, and soon, two researchers in Laplace uniform step inside. Look, I don't want to be mean, but I brought this to you a long time ago. You were very... The argument comes to a sudden halt as they lay eyes on her.
Welcome, comrades.
Are you both here for the lecture? Please take a seat. Make yourselves comfortable. She gestures towards the chairs, but one of them walks straight up to her. Are you giving the lecture today? Are you the ley hunter?
Yes.
What gave it away? You can call me Windsong. A ley hunter in real life? He leans towards her as if inspecting a specimen in a glass case. Before Windsong can react, he speaks again.
May I ask?
A few questions. Why are you still studying ley lines? Because... She opens her notebook, but it provides her with no answer. That can possibly be your major project, can it? So what is it then? Geology? Environmental planning? No, Her only study has been and will always be that of ley lines. But I don't understand. Didn't she get that lecture exactly because of what happened in Rayashki? Why are people like this at her lecture right now? Wasn't she given that opportunity because she actually had proof of everything she said she's been saying so far? Only the study of ley lines?
Yes.
She's relieved that she can finally give a positive response, but the two researchers exchange a bewildered look.
But...
Miss Windsong, I don't think there's much research or many studies concerning ley lines these days. Well, there aren't any, if we're honest. Who's funding it? Are there any ongoing projects or publications?
I'm not sure that...
I haven't seen any studies that included the ley lines in the research. Is the study of ley lines considered a scientific discipline or more of an arcane one? Which journals or publishers do you usually send your papers to? About the funding part, I can understand that it was funded by Rayashki, but again, for Laplace to be willing to hold that lecture for her, that means they know now that she got proof, right? Where did you come from, sir?
Why?
And what made you stick with it? Windsong responds with a bitter smile. Well, it's a long story. She hears more footsteps coming down the hallway. One after another, researchers file into the lecture hall. Windsong feels the curious eyes of some as they pass by. Most, however, take their seats quietly. Why don't you go join the others? We'll be starting in a minute. The researcher nods and steps back from the podium. He finds a seat at the front, placing his notebook on the table before him. Windsong meets his eager eyes. Would you share with us how you got into this field of study? His friend also takes a seat in the first row. The murmurs lower as more and more are seated. Windsong takes a bracing breath and rings a bell on the podium. The lights dim. All eyes are focused on her. Sorry.
Welcome, comrades.
Fellow researchers, it is an honor to be here to share some ideas in the study of ley lines with you. The crowd responds with sparse clapping. My name is Windsong. I'm a ley hunter. Our topic today is Ley lines in environmental analysis, a geological survey of Ariashki. She taps the keyboard and the topic emerges on the projector screen. Some of you may have heard of the study of ley lines, while for others it may be a novelty. Although not a new discovery, ley lines are unfortunately given little attention in today's academia. Its study emerged in the early 20th century, and for the next 50 years, played an auxiliary role in other disciplines, geography, biology, even applied physics. It helped many researchers in various fields, but its value in and of itself was underrated. It was a desperate time. That was until Comrade Tristan Lisov came along. He is a genius that every disciple dreams of having. In more than 10 years, he brought the study to its peak.
The 21st century belongs to the study of ley lines,
he said. Just like many other ley hunters, I was deeply encouraged by his words. Like a fire smoldering under the ashes, they got us through those hopeless times. She scans the faces lit by the projection screen, hoping to see their reactions. She notices the first researcher's face. His eyes are fixed on her as he tries to understand where the story is going. Would you share with us how you got into this field of study? Before we get into more detail, I have a question for you all.
When it comes to a school of thought, who do you need more? Those that get the work done, or the ones that make it popular?
Don't worry. Take some time to think about it, and I'll come back to it at the end. Technically, even if somebody does all the work, it needs to get popular in a way, because if researchers were doing studies only for themselves to get the results, what's the point? Those results have to reach outside the labs as well. People have to see the results. That's when you know that it matters, I guess, because they become easily accessible knowledge to a wider audience. I can see now where she's going with this question, but I imagine that it's good to make a research popular, even if it doesn't get any results, because that way it matters to more people. Imagine if a researcher was studying something and the results were only known amongst them, 30 people. Would they make any difference in the world that way, with just 30 people knowing? You know what I mean? Something like this. That's how I see it so far, that is. As I said earlier, I was enthralled by Lisov's enthusiasm and ambition and became a ley hunter. It was a remarkable time. Under his guidance, we all had unwavering faith in this discipline. Okay, nothing much so far, but we do know that this takes place after the events of the main story as well. Unless she takes us to a flashback of some sort. In that case, we would be having both past and present, I guess. Stage 2. Top of the ivory tower. A simple world is an ignorant one. You may have grown accustomed to its ignorance, so much so that you don't see it anymore, like how your brain filters the noise from your sight. Stretch your arms and legs, roll your neck, feel your blood flowing and your heart beating, and follow the passion within. At first, all you have are your primitive instincts. Your senses are overwhelmed by the vastness of the world. There's so much information to be absorbed. It's scary but also intriguing. Ripples collide and rebound, overlap, and intertwine. You can't ignore them anymore. You must find a way to communicate with them. But where do they flow? Oh. Okay, we're having a flashback. And she just vomited. She opens her eyes to find herself kneeling on the marble floor. She hears people's voices and knows that she has come back to reality.
Yes.
Don't move. Stay where you are. Vomiting continues. What?
No!
What have you done? Nothing? Nothing? The experiments ruined thanks to you. And what did I say about the election ground state line? Why don't you just go to the admissions office and re-enroll as a novice? Perhaps if you do your studies again, you'll actually learn a thing or two. Although muffled, his roaring continues on the other side of the door. Go! We're running this again! She stares at the door. He really does have a booming voice. I can still hear him as clear as day. She's still not used to the side effects of tracing ley lines. Don't take it to heart, Comrade Katerina. It's not personal. He's always been the loudest one in the room. Ah, Professor. Professor Ivanov walks over and gives her a gentle pat on the shoulder.
Are you okay?
A janitor quickly arrives to clean up the mess of the floor. This is clearly not the first time this has happened. Windsong shakes her head, trying to clear her mind. Sorry, Professor. I was a bit lost in there. Don't worry. It wasn't easy for any of us on our first try. A good experience, though. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
I saw lines, each in different shapes and colors. Some were straight, in rigid patterns, while others looked like a jumble of fibers. Were those the ley lines? She extends a tentative finger into the air, tracing what she just saw.
Don't run before you can walk, Comrade Katerina.
Remember, there could be serious consequences if we tamper with the ley lines without knowing their sources.
Sure.
Yes, Professor Ivanov. She withdraws a hand, but she can still feel the energy of the ley lines swirling around her. Once you know every line by heart, you'll be able to play them like a heptachord. Do you remember what I said in class? Yes. We can briefly transform one thing into another by changing the attributes of the ley lines, but the object's nature remains unchanged. The study of ley lines is the discipline of observation, and the ley hunter's job is to observe, not to create, intervene, or impose our will on nature.
But we might find a way out for others.
Exactly. Never intervene. But we might find a way out for others by revealing the hidden clues in nature. We can lead them to the right path. Lead them to the right path. She repeats these words under her breath. How many days and nights has she spent studying to become a lay hunter at this institute? All her efforts are finally paying off. I told you before, this is our last sample, the last one.
Help me!
Did you say help me? Could you give me a hand, sir? My fingers seem to be stuck. The lab report! The lab report! The lab report! What are those ears on the sides of your ears for? Decoration?
Yes.
Yes, the whiteboard. Bring it to room 302A.
Still feeling strange, huh?
Everyone in this place is caught up with their own hectic schedules. You'll find your place in this institution once you've decided on your research topic. And when will that be, Professor? He shakes his head, still smiling. Take it easy. There's no need to rush. Besides, it seems your colleagues are still struggling to catch up with you, Comrade Katerina. He gestures behind her. A number of junior researchers are sprawled out in the hallway, lying or leaning in recovery from what they just experienced. At one end of the hallway, two medical staff quietly wheel one of them out of a stretcher. Are there any projects you find particularly interesting? The one on the Kalaria super deep borehole, or maybe the Zverdlovsk rescue group? Did I say that right? I tried, it's kind of hard. Those two are quite prominent. They're making good progress, and the higher-ups are fairly supportive of them. I think that suits you well.
No.
I'm quite interested in that one. Are they still taking new members? Has it ever occurred to you that we have safety regulations to follow here? On Nick's project. Do you know what he's working on? Not really. But the pile of papers on his desk is impressive. Looks like the old guy is trying to build his own Tower of Babel. Don't you want to join one of the more high-profile projects? Windsong's look over at the researchers sitting in the opposite corner, each fully absorbed in their work. It's the most comfortable corner in the building, and the people sitting there are the true elites of the establishment. That one looks more fun.
All right.
There'll be stuff restructuring in 6 months. If you end up regretting your decision, there's still a chance we could put you in a different group. Not many people can put up with old Nick, you know. Why? Group meeting Room 105, 8 p.m. Well...
Who leylined my coffee into this thing?
No one wants to admit such a basic mistake. The room falls into deadly silence. Come on! Which one of you rookies just messed with the ley lines in the room? She tucks her hands behind her back.
I was expecting you.
Perfect timing, old Nick. Meet Comrade Yekaterina. She's going to fill the vacancy in your group. His sharp gaze locks onto her. Windsong feels as though nothing can escape his sight. I swear, at the beginning I thought she was inside the class and that he was shouting at her, but it appears she was just outside. I forgot that they mentioned the door, like I couldn't understand what the door meant. But she was just outside. That wasn't me. I mean the coffee, I think. Windsong senses a smirk lurking behind his beard.
Follow me, rookie.
He turns on his heel and starts marching away. Windsong hastens to follow him, but Professor Ivanov calls out to her.
Comrade Yekaterina?
Yes.
Yes, Professor. She turns back to face him. The professor stands beneath a huge portrait on the wall. It is a portrait of the founding father of their discipline, Tristan Lisov. In the portrait, Lisov casts a calm and confident gaze to the left, like he can already see the promise of the future. The 21st century belongs to the study of ley lines. The motto is placed right beneath his portrait. It's the first thing anyone sees when they enter the building.
Welcome to the new world.
Our new world. Thank you, sir. Snapping back to the moment, Windsong's eyes turn to the professor again. Our new world. Finally, I can make a difference, broaden our understanding of ley lines, lead us into a new future. She gives a solemn nod. She swiftly turns around and rushes to catch up with old Nick. Stage 3, Parasites. The time is 8:29. Yekaterina, clocked in. Windsong tosses the pen aside. It dangles from the string attaching it to the sign-in board. Has it only been 3 months? Feels like twice as long. We're moving on to stage 3 today. She yawns deeply. She has no time to rest, but the drowsiness is only getting stronger. My jaw. Oh, I thought I dislocated it for a second. Been there. He pinches the bridge of his nose in irritation.
Comrade Ekaterina.
Over here.
Yes.
Old Nicola aligns the papers on the desk and sets them aside. I've read your paper. Not too bad for a first draft. I've made a few notes that might be helpful to you. When did you leave the last lab last night? A little after 2 a.m., Comrade Nicola. I made sure to cloak out before I left. Then, when can I see that lab report? Before the end of the day. Today? I don't think so. Your schedule's packed. Is it? What am I gonna do?
Pack your things.
Why, old Nick?
I thought you liked my paper. You can't just flip the switch and start hating me because I yawned a few times, or can you?
What did you just call me?
Sorry, sir. Why do you think there's no one in the lab at this hour? Well... Oh. The researchers are all crowded in front of the notice board. The project bid results have been released. I completely forgot. Go take a look. You did well on that proposal. It'd be smart to have you on the list. And if they don't, You still have your spot on the Arctic expedition team. Have a look at mine for me too. If you're not too busy celebrating any good news, that is.
Sure.
Sure thing. The board is layered with papers detailing all the announcements. The latest one is pinned on top, listing the projects that have been granted national funding. Please, I have to get through. Sorry. She can't see past the crowd in any direction.
Are you alright?
Comrade Katerina, want a sip? It's vodka. You must have been put through a lot of working with old Nick. I'm okay. Ouch! That's my foot! Sorry, comrade. The crowd pushes her around. She holds onto Yelena's sleeve to keep herself from falling. We're packed tighter than a can of sardines. Sorry, I covered her voice. We're packed tighter than a can of sardines here. We shouldn't have come so early. Alright, let me see. Where's Ari Katerina's hamster project? Gerbils, Comrade Yelena. Gerbils, not hamsters. Yeah, I hear you.
You are going to Tariga?
Gerbils. I don't see any Gerbils here. Oh, there's your name. You're going to Tariga? More people push in, squeezing them out of the crowd. Windsong notices that most of the people who are already leaving have satisfied smiles on their faces. Clearly, they're content with their outcome. You can't be serious, Comrade Katerina. Maybe you got the destination wrong after staying up late a week? All the effort you put into that big document just to be assigned to Tariga, the place where even vultures struggle to survive?
Yes.
Yes, Comrade Elena. I've read some interesting accounts about that place. It's calling out for exploration.
So you'll ride the goat across the mountains to become a shaman queen in the wilderness? Oh, my Katarina.
Yelena dramatically buries her face in her hands, unable to fathom the hardship. Don't worry about me. Were you selected too?
Yes, I'm going to Frankfurt.
Definitely an upgrade from Tariga. What's happening over there? It's Alexei and the boys. Seems like they won the bid too. Alexei? I thought he was working for... Oh, Ekaterina, you really should come to the pub with us more often. You've missed out on everything. He left the Kalari, a super deep borehole project, a while ago. Now he's his own boss, running a project with his own people. What's it called? Something like a leyline perspective on quantum field theory and its application in energy conversion and transmission. Ugh, quite a mouthful. Quantum field theory? But we don't have an optical lab here. Where are they going to do the experiments? Who knows? I'm sure Alexei will find a way. You know, help from his family. His old man wouldn't bat an eye at the bill required to build a new lab. You wait and see. With his articles getting published one after the other, there's no doubt that he'll be made director of some department soon. And there's no other discipline that gets as much love from the journal editors as ours does. People put a lot of faith in ley lines, you see. But people like old Nick can't stand when academics cut corners, so you never would have heard any of this from him. I see your point, Comrade Yelena. I know what you're trying to say. A passion from the populace can sometimes be a threat to scientific rigor, but it also gives us an edge, don't you think? Do you remember that village we visited? The chief must be a Varangian, Stambo guy. But even he granted us permission to explore near the village when we said we were lay hunters. Yes, but that was because he wanted us to see if there were gold mines or oil beneath the village. Yes, my dear Ekaterina, and we'd probably still be enjoying the saunas in their banya if you hadn't broken the truth to him so quickly. But let's not argue over the past. In the end, we successfully completed the task and gathered enough materials for the report, didn't we? It's true the chief didn't get the news he wanted, but at least we secured our spots in the institute, and it was all thanks to that report. She recalls the chief's furious expression and piercing gaze. He'd looked at them as if they were a pair of frauds. The memory sent shivers down her spine. Well, what are you gonna do in Frankfurt then? There's a new project on hydrothermal mineral deposits, and I've had enough of the cold up here in the north. It's time to go somewhere warmer for a change. Sounds good. I hear they have some nice hot springs there. Maybe you can give them a try. Yelena gives a joyful smile. You always give the
bring
best.
you something back.
You always give the best advice, Ekaterina. I'll be sure to keep an eye out for any gifts. Maybe I can bring you something back. Sausages or some apple wine would be perfect. How about you? Would you like some bear cub from the north? You can spare me that one. Take care. We won't be seeing each other much for a while. The lightly touched cheeks, and Windsong watches Yelena stride away. She realizes that the hallway has become quiet again. Having checked the results, the crowd is long gone. But Windsong has one more thing to check. She doesn't see old Nick's name on the first page, so she flips to the next, and then the next, until she finally finds his project on the last sheet. Then she notices the yellowing papers beneath. Sustainable agriculture in developing countries. A ley line analysis. A ley line perspective on efficiency in heavy industry and optimization. Prospect and development. Theory and applications. This is the work of every ley hunted in this institution. She runs her finger along the pages, finally coming to a stop on the oldest one.
Here lies the history of ley lines.
She mutters to herself. So many people have tried so many things, and all at the same time, simultaneously exploring the possibilities of applying ley lines to all kinds of disciplines.
Why?
Most of these attempts seem to have only scratched the surface. She goes through them all again. Many of them were given up when the researchers encountered the first few obstacles. It's like they never even intended to dig deeper into the subject. 2, maybe 3? No more than 3 topics within the same area of research. Maybe they'll come back to them when they have more data. It's still a young subject after all. But so much talent and brainpower has been diverted to all these different areas. If we just work together more, we'd probably have a wealth of knowledge by now. No wonder old Nick doesn't like it here. This definitely gives us a deeper insight on how things were done at her institute, because from the main story we understood that there was this group of people that were researching the same thing as her, and they just started, becoming less and less because they gave up until their institute was closed, from what I understood. But from what we saw in here, this institute had different studies on ley lines. It wasn't just one thing that everybody was in and they slowly started leaving because it was impossible. There were more studies that were less promising than the ones the others did, and that's the ones that Windsong wanted to partake in, because her teacher was also like that. So now, in this scenario, I wonder what happened to these other ley hunters, because through this story, through this patch, we've seen that these people are not considered actually researchers, real researchers from other types of researchers in Laplace and other scientific institutes. However, in their own institute, some of them are considered more popular and more successful than others based on the study they're focusing on. So are these more popular ley hunters still looked down upon outside their institute? Because based on what we saw in the main story, they probably are looked down upon. But yeah, I don't know, the main story really made it look like there was this whole institute that everybody just dropped except from her. And here we see that it's more like a department of this institute was not as popular as the others, and that's the one that the rest of ley hunters left, and not the whole institute. But I think they did say that the institute closed down, so I'm guessing that everybody left eventually. Like that we're going to see that later in this particular side story. Let's see. But it really looks like everybody else in the other departments of this ley line institute are doing well, that their researches are approved and funded and whatnot. So yeah, stage 4, Tortoise and the Hare. The cold weather in Tariga clears all other thoughts from Windsong's mind, and the happenings of the research institute seem distant amid the snowy mountains. It's already the end of her second month here. Today marks the 32nd day of our exploration. A new mine has been found at the pass of a mountain known by the locals as Bear Mountain. I can't stop shivering. No heating, no hot water. Tariga is cruel. I better ask the gatekeeper to bring me some more firewood. She pulls a blanket tighter around her shoulders. Aside from that, she dips her pen in the ink bottle. We also found a group of critters, which the locals refer to as shamama, during our mining. After thoroughly examining the feathers, the excrement, and observing their habits and behaviors over a period of time, I believe the shamamas are a variant of the long-extinct critters, the domovoi. With much effort, we have successfully relocated them to a new reservation.
Thank you, Sophia.
I wouldn't have been able to identify the shamamas without your help. She's writing to Sophia, a researcher who previously shared information about critters local to Dariga with her. The correspondence is piled high on the table. Boy, it's already quite a stack. How many letters have we written? She pulls the letters closer to her and counts them one by one. Oh, there aren't a huge number. It's just that each of them is quite chunky. I totally get it, Sophia. Living in a place where the mailman only comes once a fortnight and cramming as much info into each letter as possible. We've never quite managed to squeeze our theories into just one page, have we? Today's letter, however, is concise. I've received news that my paper has been successfully published. Can't wait to catch up with you in Yakutsk. Upon writing the last word, she sets the letter aside to let the ink dry. Yakutsk. Some say it's even colder than here. Oof. But Sophia and the Oveniks are there. Definitely worth a visit. Ovenik. Is that the name? Straightening up in her chair, she picks up one of the letters to check. Funny that I've never noticed this. Dear Comrade Ekaterina, regarding the critters you found, dear comrade, in response to the previous questions on ley lines. Not exactly the so glad to hear from you. Take care and stay warm. Yours faithfully type. Are you, Sophia? Always straight to the point. If you wore a pair of thick glasses, you'd be a real Professor Stoneface. Amused by the thought, she folds the letter and puts it in a new envelope. Leave it at the door, please. And could I also get some more firewood? I have a letter for you, Comrade Ekaterina. A letter? Today? For me? From whom? The Leyline Institute.
Sure.
I see. Thank you.
A complaint letter? About me?
From Frankfurt. Frankfurt. Yelena? The old notice board of the smell of ink and the conversation about sausages and apple wine suddenly come back to her. Could this have anything to do with her? The letter gives no direct answer. Do you have anything to mail? If not, I'll leave you to your business. Wait a moment, comrade. Is there a bus leaving for this address today? It's urgent. Yelena and Alexei stand in the office muttering to each other with grave expressions on their faces.
What on earth is going on, Comrade Yelena?
They immediately turn toward the sound. Oh, it's you, Yekaterina. Don't worry, I have everything under control. It won't cause you any trouble.
Why?
Why was I on your bid document? We aren't even in the same group. I was trying to secure more funding, so I listed you as a co-author of their report. I should have talked to you first, but none of us would be in trouble if he hadn't filed the complaint to get back at me. Who? Some hotel owner in Frankfurt. He asked us to check if there were any gold mines beneath his hot spring. And did you promise him anything? Ekaterina, I didn't really promise him anything. She stares at Yelena in both disappointment and anger. Don't give me that look. Please, Yekaterina, ask it to handle it carefully and make sure your reputation remains intact. Look, I made a mistake. I'll make it up to you. Take a look at this. It's different this time. There's really something worth studying. Comrade Tristan Lisov just pointed us in a new direction. The ocean is limitless, possibilities lying within. Professor Vladimir Ivanov's also on board, and he hopes you can join us too. But what's there to investigate? Oil and gas? Mapping continental shelves? They hardly make a strong research topic, and you certainly don't need so many lay hunters to research them. But don't you want to meet Comrade Lisov in person? You don't get to meet the experts from the Academy of Sciences every day. Make a good impression, and it might help with your future funding. You never know. He's right, Ekaterina. Let's go together, shall we? I owe you one after all this. The ocean? I don't... It's all about seizing the right opportunity, and trust me, Ekaterina, this is it. No, Yelena. Listen. Yelena continues to speak, but Windsong only finds her voice increasingly unbearable. Yelena! She throws the letter to Yelena's feet. Could you just take one moment and think this through? Is this really the right thing to do? Yelena exchanges a helpless look with Alexei. What do you want to do then? Windsong opens her mouth. All of a sudden, she hesitates.
I just want to focus on my project.
No novel ideas and directions. No fawning over well-connected people. She looks straight into their eyes. They are wide with surprise. Good luck finding someone who shares your vision. Do you really mean that, Comrade Ekaterina? Old Nick doesn't know any better. The silence among them becomes stifling. You can't stay in your little bubble forever. There's a lot happening out there, and you can't escape from it by wandering the wilderness. Do you have any idea how hard it is to publish a paper these days? You've got to earn Professor Ivanov's trust, to win him over. Then he'll bring up your name to Dean Lisov, or maybe even introduce you to him in person. Getting there requires talent, wealth, social skills. Otherwise, who knows how long your paper will sit at the bottom of the drawer? Well, maybe not that long. Someone else will probably beat you to publishing your idea. Old Nick never warned me about any of this.
That's why Old Nick is always Old Nick. Not Professor Nikola or Director Nikola.
He's never been credited as the first author of a paper. No. This is a sheer violation of academic integrity. Academic integrity? What's the point of valuing integrity if the subject barely exists anymore? We've found no new theories, theorems, or laws. We've just been verifying existing ones, telling the world what it already knows. No one knows the subject better than we do, and we all know there's nothing sophisticated about it. At best, it's just a tool
You must understand that better than any of us.
At best, it's just a tool serving other subjects. With just a slight turn of her head, Windsong can't see the notice board beside them. She remembers those projects, the history written on the fragile yellowed papers.
No.
I've made up my mind. I don't want to be part of this. And please don't add my name to any more of your lists, Comrade Yelena.
Wait.
Ekaterina, you can't just leave. What is it?
What if...
If you insist on not participating, you have to tell the professor yourself.
Fine.
I'll talk to him. Come in. Sir, is it a good time?
I was expecting you.
Ekaterina, your paper on Tariga was truly impressive, a valuable case study indeed. Putting the journal aside, Professor Ivanov greets her with a warm smile. Comrade Tristan Blisov has also read your paper. He told me he's looking forward to seeing more of your work on the upcoming project. That is why you're here, is it not? He gestures to the chair across the table and pours some tea into the cup in front of it. Yes, sir. I appreciate your and Comrade Lisov's recognition of my work, but I won't be joining you in this new project.
Why?
It's a good opportunity. He pauses, still holding the teapot in his hands. I understand that, but I've decided on my next topic. She hands him a crumpled envelope. The professor pulls out a thick stack of papers from it.
What is this?
He takes the glasses from his pocket, puts them on, and peers at the letter. His eyebrows knit together as he reads, his eyes scanning from left to right. For a moment he puts the letter down. Ovinik? Yes, sir. He takes on a somber countenance. Comrade Ekaterina, I trust you to be a person of reason. There's simply no other project more promising than the Ocean Project. It's led by the founding father of our subject. Anyone who writes a paper under him will undoubtedly take a significant step up the academic ladder. Yes, I have no doubt about that.
Why?
Then why would you give up such a valuable opportunity and choose to work in the north with some nobody instead? Valuable. Yakutsk has its value too, sir. Yes, and in interdisciplinary study on critter ecology, that could be interesting, but
What will that project give you?
you're on the upswing of your career thanks to your paper on Tariga. It's the perfect time to build connections in academia. But what you have here doesn't look optimistic to me. You're a smart girl, Ekaterina. Act like one. Connections? Is that what this project is for? Do you genuinely believe it's good for my career, or are you just trying to keep everyone in line? For a moment, the professor seems puzzled.
Comrade Ekaterina?
If you really want to advance in this field, you'll find yourself at a disadvantage if you haven't participated in any projects primarily focused on ley lines. You know as well as I do that there hasn't been a ley line project as significant as this since 1982. If this project succeeds, the credibility of the study of ley lines will skyrocket, as will the recognition of the researchers who have contributed to it. There is a phrase that says you're trying to stay above water when you're drowning, but I don't remember the exact phrase right now. Anyway, yeah, it appears that now we can see what was going on. They're actually losing the faith of the rest of the researching world, and this project will give them the chance not to prove much, but if it succeeds, it will give them a chance to be recognized more as an institute and as researchers. So I understand his point of view as well. And honestly, aside from the connections that this dude mentioned, I too cannot understand why Windsong here believes that researching critters is going to be more successful than this project. Like, where does he base her faith in the critter project? Because in the main story, I'm bringing this up all the time for you to understand where I'm standing, we saw that her research was actually on ley lines. It wasn't some sort of side research that would also aid the ley lines project. So I don't understand why her current research is that far off ley lines and focusing so much on critters. Does she believe that the answer they seek, the ley lines, are easier found in critters than the environment, for example, in the mountains instead of the oceans? I mean, in a way that could make sense, because I believe it's harder for people to, like, even to this day, have we managed to go to the deepest waters possible on Earth? I don't know about that. Like, I remember years ago that I had heard that not the entire ocean has been explored here by humans, but caves deep underground have been reached by humans, so perhaps it's easier to study those than a deeper sea, for example. Maybe that's where she bases her belief on, to the fact that it's easier to search the earth inside mountains instead of inside the sea. I don't know anymore. These are too advanced for my little brain, so I don't know. I'm just pulling theories out of nowhere. Anyway, but yeah, I can see where he stands in terms of society and reputation of the school and keeping it funded from the government or whatnot. But her side now, I can see it. Like, in the main story, I could see where she stood, like that she was trying to prove that ley lines were real and all, like this dude is doing right now. But in this moment, I don't get it, like where she stands in this side story, and how is that connected to what she eventually was researching in Rayashke before the others found out. With all due respect, sir, all I see is a group of people who share the same passion for meeting Comrade Lisov. Credibility doesn't seem to interest them all that much. I don't see any diligence here, just a thirst for fame. Yeah, but still, if she was to go into this project, okay, in the ocean project, and the others, were searching for ways to meet this Lisov dude, couldn't she be focusing on her research while the others were trying to get a name instead and find what she wants? Because, she tells us that her main focus is the research, okay? So yeah, don't follow what everybody else is doing. Do your research, find what you want, the results you want, make your report, and ignore those that are trying, to do the basic stuff and try to get famous with that and meet Lisov or whatnot. I just think that she could still research stuff without dealing with the higher-ups, even if she went to that project. And she would also have some input from other researchers as well, which could be less deep than her own research, since these guys are not that much willing to go deep and find more. But yeah, I don't know. I suppose she looks down on it because she believes that there's actually zero chance they'll find anything there. There's no other way to see it. Like, if there's so many people in her field that feel that this project is going to work, whether the reason they want it to work is to get famous or to actually find proof on the ley lines, it still means something, doesn't it? Am I crazy for thinking that? Like, why would everyone put their hopes there and think that this is their chance to get famous just because Lisov is connected to the project, not because there's actually a chance to find something on ley lines there?
Your valuations are all wrong, Professor.
The professor simply shrugs at her sharp comments. To tell the truth, I felt the same way when I was a young researcher myself, Comrade Ekaterina. I still remember my first meeting with Comrade Lisov. My mentor gave me a fancy foreign magazine to bring along as a gift. I was terrified. It wasn't easy to get one of those back then. I could tell it was expensive. But Comrade Lisov was very kind to me. We talked like old friends. He appreciated the magazine and introduced me to many other researchers in the following years. It's a much faster way to find your footing in this circle than publishing papers year after year. You have to understand that if he agrees to endorse your research and introduce you to his connections, you'll effectively have this reputation added to yours. People will hold you in high regard because of it. You'll be able to research whatever topic you like, and people will come to you for collaborations instead of you groveling to them for a job. Don't overthink it.
It's simply a social obligation. No different from greeting your neighbors when you move to a new community.
Okay, so he too believes that this project will not be fruitful. It will just be, yeah. Okay, then I wouldn't go with them. If even my professor said to my face that, yeah, this project is actually for, gaining some popularity and making connections, yeah, I wouldn't go with them. But so far, it looked like the dude wanted the project to actually work so that they're finally recognized as real researchers. But apparently, just having a name can be proof enough. Like, people won't ask you for results so long you have a name in the industry. But it is quite tempting what he said, that you will be able to study any project you want without begging for others' approval or others' help. Don't let emotions blind you, Comrade Katerina. Trust me now, and you'll see its rationale in the years to come. It's wisest to leave this project of yours be. He folds up the letter, puts it back into the envelope, and goes to toss it in the paper bin.
No.
She snatches the envelope from his hand. Sorry, sir. It's not just an invitation letter. My experiment's data is in there too. Will you join us then? She said no, dude. The look on her face answers his question. You still don't understand. The sea breezes may be refreshing, Professor Ivanov, but only the northern mountain wind can cool this hot head. He sighs, looking down at his empty hands. He places them on the desk in resignation.
All right.
You have ambition. That's good. If I had a goal as clear as yours in my 20s, I wouldn't have listened to a word anyone said either. And now I'm much too old to pursue any ambitions.
Off you go, Yekaterina. You're still young and free.
He gestures towards the door. Thank you, Professor. Too disappointed to say anything else, he just nods in response. This game has me constantly making theories one line before they reveal the answer to my theory. I swear, it has happened so many times. Like, I don't know how many of my videos have you watched or how much of it have you watched, but every time I lose my mind over something, it's always one line before they actually give me an answer to my questions and my theories, and it pisses me off every time. Like, oftentimes when I'm editing, I'm thinking, should I include all this theory that I had since they gave an answer after that? But then I'm losing half the video because, like, I don't really talk much in some stories. Like, in this one, I haven't spoken much, apart from the part that it's me trying to understand what I'm reading in theory. So if I take off the theory itself, what do I have for you? Just me reading passages with a fancy voice or whatnot. Fancy. Okay, as you can see, I'm failing incredibly with Windsong's voice. I do not know the exact tone and I've changed it 100 times. But yeah, whatever.